Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, I got to give you guys another warning about Blackrock, about what they did, the unthinkable thing they did with Bitcoin. But it's not just them. It's all the other big players out there too. So let's talk about what they did that requires a warning. And also let's talk about some other alts that are doing quite well, and some even like microcap stuff that some of you guys are dying for. So let's cover a few of them as well. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. Look at Bitcoin. Still holding around this same point as this morning. This morning we had a little fun. We went up a little bit. And then this afternoon we went down a little bit. And then now we're back above 52. You know, almost 52.2. We're right back to where that 52.3 mark is. I told you guys, I think we're going to consolidate at this point for a little bit. This is an important resistance because after we solidly break through this resistance, Bitcoin is going to be at 60,000 in no time. Okay, so I kind of expected, you know, at some point we're going to cool off. Bitcoin's going to consolidate, right? And today, not only did Bitcoin consolidate a little bit, but others have gained some strength. Like Ethereum gained some strength today. AVAX gained some strength today. A lot of the microcaps gained strength today. So that's kind of interesting. But right now we're still sitting pretty above $52,000, right? Waiting for that next leg up that could bring us to 55,000, 58,000, 60,000, right? And it's going to come sooner than expected. And let me tell you why. First of all, as for some macro stuff that's definitely helping Bitcoin right now, there are a lot of countries that are in recession. And there are a lot of countries that's suffering from devaluation of their fiat. It's happening everywhere. Even in some major economies like Japan, I covered Japan this morning, even the UK and Finland and Peru and Ireland and all these places, right? We have a lot of economies around the world in recession. We have a lot of fiat that are just losing their buying power due to inflation. And that is the reason why Bitcoin is actually already at or near all-time high in 5 different fiat currencies, because of how bad their currency has gotten, including Japan. That might surprise you. I covered that this morning. You would think Japan doesn't suffer from a lot of inflation, right? But yeah, they have their own problems. So Bitcoin is at all-time high in Japan and all-time high in 4 other fiats, okay? So this is definitely helping Bitcoin because it's driving a lot of users, a lot of people, normal people, average Joes, into Bitcoin because they don't know what else to do. Their money is just disappearing right in front of them. And it's getting more and more costly to buy Bitcoin, right? But the alternative is not to buy Bitcoin and leave it in the bank and watch it disappear. That's much worse, right? So this is definitely helping. This is definitely helping. It's happening around the world. It's going to continue, okay? We also saw Coinbase report today, their Q4 earnings, and it was really good. Really good. This is a good indication that retail players are coming back in. But not only that, institutional volume. Look at total trading volume was 154 billion. But out of the 154 billion, 125 billion was from institutions. Think about it. So even though retail, yeah, is coming in, there is FOMO. Institutions, man, they really have the FOMO. They really are buying up. But Coinbase is doing very well. Okay, their stock shot up through the roof today, which is good. And you know who else is doing well? MicroStrategy. Their stock is through the roof, basically near all-time high. And Michael Saylor is laughing all the way to the bank because his 190,000 Bitcoin that he has acquired since 2020 is now worth $10 billion. Which is a lot. Net profit, I don't know, it's like 4 billion something. His average is like $30,000. So it's probably like 4 billion in net profit. He's looking pretty good. But it took him 4 years to get here, an enormous amount of debt to be able to do this, right? He raised a lot of debt in order to, has sold off bonds and so forth in order to buy so many Bitcoin, right? So he's sitting pretty. Obviously, the gamble worked. He kind of led the revolution when it comes to like public trade companies. But here's the staggering thing that I want to share with you guys. Why I got to warn you guys once again. Because it took how long for MicroStrategy to acquire 190,000 Bitcoin? Yes, 190,000 Bitcoin. It took about 4 years. You know how long it took Blackrock and Fidelity to reach 191,000 Bitcoin? In 3 weeks. 4 years versus 3 weeks. That's how much is being taken out of circulation right now. In case you guys are still doubting this, this is happening right in front of our eyes. And it's at an alarming rate. According to this site, BlackRock already holds 109,000 Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if that's accurate because today, I don't think that includes today's numbers. So after today, it could be like over 110, 120,000 Bitcoin. That's a staggering amount within 3 weeks. Fidelity's at 82,000, which they're not too far off. You add these two together, already they own more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy. It took MicroStrategy 4 years to do it. It took these two companies 3 weeks. And pretty soon, they will both have more than Grayscale. Grayscale is still selling. The rate of growth right now, I mean, within several months, they're going to be holding more than even Grayscale. I don't know if that computes in your heads. That is so alarming. I mean, there's so much buying going on. Even, look at this. This is the latest numbers from one of the funds, Bitwise. They're like the 4th largest. They're behind BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK, and they're the 4th one. Today, the 4th largest ETF had 126 million inflow. And today was a down day, right? Remember, what happens during down days? This whole afternoon, we saw Bitcoin dip. Retail, foolish retail, they sell. But the institutions, the big boys, what do? They buy. So despite today actually not doing that well throughout trading session, you have Bitwise, the 4th largest ETF fund, buy 126 million. So what did BlackRock buy today? What did Fidelity buy today? What did ARK buy today, right? Man, this is so alarming how fast things are moving. And there's no doubt in my mind some of these predictions that may seem wild, outrageous predictions like 60,000 or 70,000 by halving event and maybe 100,000 right after that before the end of the year. Seems like wild predictions. They don't seem so wild when you realize how much is being bought and removed from circulation right now. It's staggering. It's staggering, okay? So this is why I'm giving you guys a warning. Don't be too late to the party. I know most of you guys watching, no, you're not. You're in it. A lot of you guys have a whole coin. A lot of you guys are trying to get to a whole coin, right? But man, pretty soon we're gonna be sitting at 6-digit Bitcoin, and it's gonna be hard for me to say it's still cheap. I've been saying it for how many years since I've been on YouTube that Bitcoin is cheap. You could still buy cheap Bitcoin. And I always warn you guys that someday it won't be cheap anymore. That it's going to be so high that normal retail investors can't afford to own any. I kind of feel like we're like right at the cusp of that happening. Like once Bitcoin breaks through 60 and 70, we're in new territory. We're going to see 100,000 Bitcoin soon after that. Like, like it was just like kind of fantasy world before when I would say it, right? Like Bitcoin could reach 200,000 when I was saying at 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, right? Now we're sitting at 52,000. Doesn't seem like such a fantasy world to hit 100,000. And man, things are moving really quick. So I hope you guys are ready. This is going to come sooner than expected. So hopefully you guys have been loading up, getting ready, because it's going to get wild. And these guys are not going to be stopping. No way they're going to be stopping. Here we go. Big bank broker interest is accelerating, not decelerating. The FOMO train has started. Institutions, banks, fintech companies, public trade companies, tech companies, they all want a piece of the pie. Whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or something, they want a piece and they're buying large chunks right now. Here's an investment manager that says, 120,000 Bitcoin, 180,000 Bitcoin is no brainer. Right? Again, we throw out these large numbers like, again, in the past, it seemed like, oh, this is fantasy, right? It's nice to think about that one day Bitcoin could be 120,000. Now it's not so much. Now I'm afraid we might get there too quick. If we hit 120,000 by the end of this year, I'm going to be a little, to be honest, I'm going to be a little fearful because that's just moving too quick. That's really too quick. That means for majority of people out there, Bitcoin is priced out. Now people can only turn to alts. Like, seriously, at 120,000 Bitcoin, it's just very, very expensive to even DCA in, right? This may be the last cycle to be able to buy cheap Bitcoin for retail investors. We're just moving so quick. And outside of institutions, I mean, here's one. Here's just like a giant whale, someone that's been in it. I don't know, maybe it's Larry Fink. We don't know. Some giant whale has injected, since October to now, $3 billion into the market. And just the last day alone, $148 million, okay? So who is this whale? I mean, this is not an institution. Well, maybe it is, but regardless, it's some whale that's been buying and buying and buying and buying more and buying more. And it's not, and you know what? If you look at a screenshot, it's all over the place. They buy in Coinbase, obviously, but also Kraken and OKX and probably other places too. So, I mean, you got so much buying. So, be careful, my friends. Pretty soon, we're all going to get priced out. Bitcoin is going to become too expensive. This is the last chance kind of to like load up any significant amount of Bitcoin before it's too late. I mean, as good as that sounds, but it's also very scary. Like I now that I think about it fully, it is kind of scary to be able to be so high that retail investors are now priced out from buying Bitcoin. I hope that doesn't happen that quickly. I hope someday, maybe by the end of 2025, but not like in the next 2 months. That would be just like too quick. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? There's a lot of good things happening. Obviously, today, for the most part, was a down day because I don't know, we had some volatility, but a lot of alts are starting to recover a little bit. I did show something about Injective and Solana partnering up. They did a cryptic tweet about some kind of partnership. This is what it is. They're combining their domains, basically. Well, they're not really combining the domains. They're making it interoperable. So you could use Injective to buy .sol names that, of course, can be used in Solana's ecosystem, but can also be bridged and be used in Injective's ecosystem. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. So that's what they announced today, that there's just a big partnership between arguably the two of the hottest or biggest L1s out there, even though both kind of cooled off recently, especially Injective, but still, I think they're going to do very well this year. But yeah, that's what the partnership is about, which is pretty cool. Okay, but as for Injective, they had a fantastic 2023 because of all the moves they made, right? And right now they're still making moves. 200 million in Injective burn due to their auction burning. That's something unique that they have, and they've just upgraded their chain too to make it faster and more burning happen. They do have a lot of dApps, especially in DeFi. Hydro is a liquid staking platform that has 100 million in TVL and growing. That's fantastic, right? Oops, that was for Solana. But so yeah, Injective is still doing well, but they decided to partner up with Solana because they know that's the right thing to do, and Solana has a lot to offer. Now, as for Solana, of course, there's a lot of things going on. Bonk started skyrocketing because there's a company, Revolt, that may be doing some kind of collaboration with them, some kind of marketing promotion or something. So Bonk started moving upwards. And Bonk, you know, I think overall is going to do very well. They're the third largest meme coin out there. I think in this cycle they're going to do very well. But they're making partnerships as well, right? And then also Solana's liquid staking platform, Jitto, has close to $1 billion. That's a lot within a short amount of time. Look at how much it's skyrocketed since the late half of 2023, right? And then also Radium itself, over 220 million TVL. That's pretty significant. And here's another one. No, this is a total 2.42 billion in the last they've been higher, but you know, their TVL is just growing. Let's just say that since the downfall, right? Since crypto winter. And also their mobile. Solana Mobile processes over 20 million in payments using USDC with no processing fee. That's pretty good. I don't know anyone that's actually using Solana Mobile. I just know people buy the phone. I don't know if they actually use it, but it sounds like there are a lot of people that does use Solana Mobile. And let's not forget Helium Mobile too, which is also within Solana's ecosystem. So pretty good as well. What else is there? A little bit about Cardano. I don't talk about Cardano a lot, right? But I know there's a lot of Cardano fans. And if you're looking at Cardano, you know, here are some stats that are pretty darn good. TVL increased. Let's just go year over year, 700% year over year, going from 34th to 11th in TVL of all the chains. That's pretty good. Stablecoin volume went up 673% year over year. The price from last quarter went up 127%. Pretty good. Pretty good. And soon they're going to be upgrading, right? And they're going to bring more interoperability to Cardano. So overall Cardano, even though sometimes it seems quite boring, they still have a lot of activity. They still have a lot of upgrades. Still a lot of users that are very faithful, holding and staking their ADA. So pretty good. Pretty good. All right, lastly, you know what I cover? A lot of you guys, most of you guys know I cover big caps, Bitcoin, you know, some mid caps, but I did invest in 3 small caps, or, you know, 3 new projects that are microcaps, and they're doing quite well, especially today. And I think they're promising. I'm going to share with you what they are in case you guys are looking for some microcaps. One in particular, a lot of you guys already know. It's an AI play called AIT. They have been moving up a lot recently. They're in the AI play. And basically, they're like an AI data marketplace, right? Right now, there's not a whole lot of useful AI projects out there. But AIT, they just announced that they were going to be the very first subnet on BitSensor. And, you know, they're involved with AIT, AI modeling, and using that, you know, building up better AI and using that in a marketplace to sell to other, you know, dApps that may want to use it. So they're kind of in that space. But yeah, I just want to mention they have been doing very well recently, coming up, promising, and they're still relatively low, around $34 million. So that's what AIT is. Another one is Orange, and they did really well today. Now, Orange is in the Bitcoin space. With all the talk about BRC20, right, and stacks and ordinals and everything, that's what they're all about. Basically, they're coming out with a wallet that supports everything. Supports BRC20, supports stacks, supports Bitcoin, of course, native Bitcoin, NFTs, the ordinals NFTs, and they're going to launch a launchpad as well, but that's what they're about. So basically, they're just concentrating fully on the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is growing by leaps and bounds. So that's another one. They have done very well. Very small cap, about 11 million right now. And then the last one I'm talking about is Amino Rewards, which is really small, below 10 million. But Amino Rewards is play to earn, but also a shopping app, right? So that's what they're trying to do. I know there has been some projects that have done it in the past, but unsuccessfully. They just couldn't figure out the tokenomics well. But Amino seems like they have figured it out. They're global. They're going to open up their shop in the US. And they have a huge partnership with the 49ers. Unfortunately, they did not win the Super Bowl. But yeah, that has helped onboard a ton of users. So there's actually, I think there's a few million users that's already using this every day to track their fitness goals, especially walking and so forth, and getting rewarded for it too. So another one I'm invested in, relatively small. So I think these three have potential, very small caps, right? AIT, Orange, and Amino Rewards. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up. By the way, I had a big spaces about IFC earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw that. You guys make sure you got to follow me on Twitter, or X, I should say, because sometimes I have these spaces. I tweet out good information. Also repost a lot of videos you may have missed. Make sure you follow my X if you haven't yet. But did a big spaces. IFC is coming up in 1 week. It's gonna be big. I think it's gonna be big. A lot of influencers are going to fight. Ben is going to fight More Light, who's the founder of Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu. That'll be interesting. Crypto Crow's fighting, and several project leaders like Dreamers fighting. Crypto Grady's fighting. Oof. It's going to be a good one. And plus, Karate Combat is up and coming, and they have a really cool app that you could download and get free tokens and bet on the fighters. It's a really unique concept. So hopefully you guys actually heard that. That was a good spaces. All right, here's a super chat. Scotty Bones, large $20 super chat. Been with you since 2020. Rarely catch you live. Thanks for a stream. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let me scroll down. Mike says, sold 0.75 BTC at 27K, but held GBTC. Should I sell GBTC now to buy actual Bitcoin? I don't know, man. You like lost out on 50% or no, 100% gain. I'm sorry to hear that. GBTC, I don't know. With all the other ETFs, I would rather hold the other ETFs, but I would much rather hold actual Bitcoin. So unfortunately, you're going to have to buy Bitcoin at almost double the price that you sold previously for. But holding on Bitcoin is never a bad idea. DS Tech, much love from Australia. By the way, it's Marshmallow. This is the company I work for. Oh, okay. DS Tech. All right, what else is there? Let me see. I got to catch up here. DL. Should we buy ETH strictly based on ETF being improved? it wouldn't be a bad idea. I think today ETH started showing some strength because of that, because people are starting to put two and two together, like, oh, look at how strong Bitcoin has been after ETFs. Maybe ETH will follow the same path. Possibly, but I don't think ETH ETF is going to be approved anytime soon. I think that's going to be next year. But we'll see. Bitcoin's gaining some momentum. This morning I put a leverage play on ETH, and it looked like it was going to be really bad, but you know what? It's in the green right now. I put a 20x on ETH this morning. I made $26. Yay. Stacks is still holding strong, though went down a little bit today. And Bitcoin still looking strong. Perry, I just logged in. Yeah, I'm not restarting. Thank you. Medicinal Sushi. New member, welcome. This morning, memberships are being gifted left and right. It was like probably 100 memberships gifted. Thoughts on Render? I'm neutral on Render. I like the direction they're going, so I'll just leave it at that. They had horrible tokenomics before, but they changed that now. And I think it's also on Solana now, not ERC. So that makes them a lot better. So more positive than negative. Let's just put it that way. How high do you think ETFs, IBIT, and FBDC can go during a bull run? I don't really concentrate. I know they're like 20 something. They could double or triple. You know, what I really care about is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, 120,000, wherever it may go, those ETFs are going to follow in the same direction, right? So it's definitely upwards. Does MicroStrategy... Oh, hold on. Shoot, I just missed the whole... Man, so much. Does MicroStrategy have Bitcoin integrated in their system? I don't know. They're trying to. They're trying to be a development platform or development company for Bitcoin. So maybe. New subscriber, thank you for all you do. Garrett, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Do you think stacks are making a top 10? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, top 10 may be too far-fetched, but, you know, you never know. The BRC20 stuff, if DeFi stuff gets really hot this cycle, then stacks can. Yeah. Joel says, I'm here for the beer. Thank you. Do you want to see LeBron trade Golden State? No, I do not. I hate Golden State, so no. Research Pondex and Pork? No, thanks. Pork is some meme on ERC. No, not something I care about. Izzy says, you're awesome. We're all going to be rich soon. That is true, although that's very scary. Preston, new member, welcome. Where do you realistically see the price of SOL by this summer and end of the year? I think it could be realistically at $1,000 by the end of the year. But it really depends. If Bitcoin hits like 100,000, you know, by mid of this year, I know Solana could be at like 500 by then already. So it really depends on how high things go. Flare seems a useful project opinion. It competes with many L1s. It is useful, but it's competing with a handful of other established L1s. And then Medicinal Sushi, a huge $100 super chat. Okinawa, I'm from Okinawa, Japan. Been watching every afternoon. Can you do a shout out to my daughter, Kiana? I hope I said that right, Kiana. And you're welcome. You're welcome. This is what I do. I help people understand, stay calm, and hodl, right? And if you've been doing so, you're doing great. But thank you for that. And yeah, you know, I just cover about Japan too. So Japan, I heard, if you're trying to buy Bitcoin, is already at all-time high because the yen is doing very poorly. So maybe you could comment on that. Joe Flunky, portfolio from 15K to 42K, Bitcoin and Sol gains. Okay, when should I unload Bitcoin to get into alts before bull market? It's too hard to say. Right now, we have mix and match, right? We have alts doing somewhat well. Bitcoin's still doing well. Bitcoin dominance has gone up, but it's not going up too much. So it's kind of like half-half. I think you're doing it right already. You could always diversify a little bit, but you know what? Always keep a good amount of Bitcoin. You're going to regret if you don't. But it's kind of hard to time, you know? Like this cycle is a little bit different than previous cycles. Not a little bit different, it's very different. Let's just be honest, it's very different. Alts are much stronger now than previous cycles, much stronger. Before, you would not even think about buying alts until like the very last year or the very last half of the last year. Joel, not a big fan of DOT. I'm not a big fan of DOT. I like others better. I like Avalanche better. I like Beam better. I like Solana better. I like Injective better. Daryl, another $100 super chat. Thank you. Been with you since 2019. That's a long time. I'm in Alex, Stacks, Welsh. Please do a dive. Welsh community show. Wait, pity shower strong. What? You may be a little drunker than me. Is Welsh like a Bitcoin play? Because the other two are. Better not be a meme. Welsh Corgi coin? That sounds like a meme. And is it a meme on Stacks or Bitcoin? I don't know. First meme coin built on Bitcoin? That's not true. 40 is a Bitcoin. It's already big. Even though that's pretty cute, but I'm will. It's already 50 million. It's too high. I just sold half a Bitcoin, 50 Sol. No, I got just over half a Bitcoin, 50 Sol. Okay. Okay. Again, there's no right or wrong answer like when you need to flip, right? Like you could just, you know, if you want to add more, you could just add more to alts, not sell your Bitcoin, right? But if you really want to sell your Bitcoin, I don't know. Bitcoin dominance has been going up recently, right? So it's like, I don't know if it's the right time to be converting or not. Remember, you can always buy sats, not a whole Bitcoin, but I'll tell you this, most people don't want that. I asked a lot of people that are not in Bitcoin. First of all, they don't know you could buy sats. And second of all, they don't want to buy sats. You tell them, hey, you could buy 0.001 Bitcoin for $100. You think they're going to be very enticed to do that? No, people like whole numbers. That's why in bull markets, the decimal points on some of these coins, right, they make a difference. That's why memes do well, because someone could put $100 in and get like a billion tokens, right? No one wants to buy 0.0001 Bitcoin. So even though, yes, it's doable, I'll tell you, that's going to be a big deterrent going forward. Clemens, appreciate that. John says, you keep selling Bitcoin, next thing you'll be flipping burgers. Hey, nothing wrong with flipping burgers. Honest days worth of work, I guess. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? To support yourself, support your family, or to make extra money for investing. That's what you got to do. Did you finally pop your Blue Label? No, I have a special bottle that I don't want to pop. It's like a special edition of Blue Label, which is worth more, so I'm saving that. But I popped a small label, a small Blue Label recently. Will the ETFs buy stop eventually? Yeah, eventually when all the institutions are full. I don't know when that's going to be. The institutions are just getting started. There's like $100 trillion worth of money out there. No, it's probably more than that, but still, there's so much money out there. Barely any flew into ETFs. Once they really do, that's when you'll see some crazy movement. Do you know anyone personally that owns over 100 Bitcoin? No, I don't. Why? Do you? Do you hold more than 100 Bitcoin? I'd be impressed if you do. Hey, George, thoughts on Engine? Ryan, I have not heard anything about Engine since 2021. Not one peep about them. So, no. Crypto Companion, I already said it. People are already, retail already are not buying Bitcoin because of how high it is. I have many friends. When I talk to them, hey, go buy some Bitcoin, they're like, Bitcoin's already at 52,000. It's too expensive. People care. Retail care. You could tell them, hey, you could buy 0.1 Bitcoin for 5,200, or you could buy 0.01 at 520. No one wants to hold 0.01 Bitcoin. No one wants to hold 0.1 Bitcoin. People want to hold whole numbers. They want to hold 5 or 10 or 100, right? And the bigger Bitcoin gets, the bigger the deterrent it is to retail investors, not to institutions. They got billions upon billions and trillions to spend, but not retail. Ask anyone that's not in crypto. This is why during bull runs, and I've seen a lot of them, why memes do so well. Because people see the decimal points and they're like, oh, for $100 I could get $1 billion worth of sheep. Let's all FOMO into sheep. That's why. Why do you think meme coins have so many decimal points? Why don't they make a meme coin start out at $10,000? Because no one's go buy it. That's why. So yeah. So that's why. I worry one day wars will be fought over Bitcoin. Ben, you know what? As silly as that sounds, that could actually happen. There's only so much, right? Imagine wars being fought to take over miners and mining farms, right? Because that's the only way to get Bitcoin. That would be wild. And hopefully that never happens. But, you know, when money's evolved, anything happens. What's your inside info on VET? Will it pass all-time high? I don't know. I don't know if I could share it. I shared it in my Patreon group. It's not like the biggest thing, but I don't know if I could publicly say it, so I'm not going to say it. It has something to do with something they announced recently where they copyrighted a few symbols. It has to do with one of those symbols. ARN98, George, my mom is asking if you're single. First of all, do you have any pictures? And second of all, no, I'm not single. Does GBDC own most Bitcoin over 400,000? No, they don't hold that many. No, they do. They hold 461,000 Bitcoin. But they're still selling a few, 100 million every day, which is not good. But, BlackRock is adding at a staggering pace. They themselves will hold more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy soon. That's just insane if you ask me. Within 3 weeks. Economies? Not a fan. Not a fan anymore. Do I have a single brother? No. No, I don't. But sometimes when I go out and people ask me, hey, are you that guy on YouTube? I'll say, no, I'm his brother. Christopher, appreciate that. Thank you. Clemens asks, hey George, recently bought Yield Magnet, super innovative project, hedge funds for DeFi, allowing people to create their own funds. That sounds like a horrible idea, man. That sounds like a horrible, horrible idea to allow people to create their own funds that other people can invest in. That's a sure way to lose your money and get in trouble from the government. Daryl, 10 billion tokens, all distributed cap meme coin at MXC. You could play low leverage, not drunk. Yeah, I'm not going to be playing. First of all, I'm going to be honest, even though you sent $100. If I was going to buy it, I would not be using leverage, first of all. The surest way to lose money with leverage is to short Bitcoin. Second surest way to lose money is to play leverage on meme coins. I have lost so much before on Bonk and Myro and Wen and all these ones that I think I can do well with leverage. Boom, instant liquidation. They're just way, way, way too volatile. So it's one thing to tell people to get into a meme. To tell them to leverage on a meme, that's just like asking for real trouble. Keanu, is it realistic to see Injective 3x after doing a 4.5x in October? Are you living in Canada? I want to know how you leverage trade. Love the channel. Leverage trade is easy. You just have to use an exchange that's open to your country. Like this one I'm using is Tapbit. They are open to U.S. residents. I'm sure they're open to Canadian residents. But, you know, most exchanges, foreign exchanges, have spot, which is just regular buying. And then they have derivatives, which is futures, right? And you can select how much leverage you want to do. You go down to 1x, 2x, 3x, right? You could short too, which I don't recommend, but you could select how much you want to leverage. This one goes to 150, which is definitely not recommended. So yeah, it's the same thing. And then you buy, of course. When you buy, you want to make sure you set like a stop loss, right? Especially when you go to sleep. Like if I go to sleep, I set stop loss on all these in case there's a big catastrophic drop in the nighttime, which sometimes does happen, right? Otherwise, I just let it run. Sometimes I'm more greedy than others, but overall, you know, you just got to be very careful. It's not for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. I do it because I get bored. That's why. Because my portfolio normally never moves. I just have whatever I have in there. I never really like change it at all. So like to keep myself entertained and feeling excited, you know, I do leverage trades. So sometimes I make big wins, sometimes I lose and I get all depressed, but that's why I do it, right? But my main portfolio basically never moves. Which alts would you buy for a 300K-ish house? I don't get it. How much are you trying to make? 300K? I don't get it. Las Vegas spokesmodel. Hey, welcome. I remember meeting you in Mandalay Bay. I don't know what you're talking about. Like 300K house. Like, what are you trying to? How much are you trying to make? There's nothing to do with the house. Are you saying you're just trying to make $300,000? Like you could do that with Bitcoin. Just depends on how much you put in. Do you think Say could reach $5? 5x? Yeah. Easy. That's easy. I think they will reach $10. To purchase a house. No, stop saying to purchase a house. You could buy a house for like $100,000 too. You could buy a house for $50,000. You just Let's keep it simple, right? Just DCA. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin and a lot of the big caps and mid caps and some of the smaller caps. Pay attention to what I cover, get educated, make your own decisions, and you can make a tremendous amount of money in this run. Do you think Solana is a good project? No, I don't. Just based on the name. Just based on a name alone makes me think it's a bad project. Proppy to buy a house, and that's like fractionalized real estate play. Injective, realistic 3x after 4. Yes. Yes. Almost everything that you see here will do a 10x, in my opinion. And that includes Solana and BNB. Maybe Ethereum can't do a 10x this cycle, even though there's still a chance. Bitcoin probably won't do a 10x, although there's still a chance. But everything else, realistically, has a 10x potential. Maybe not XRP, but everything else does. All right, guys, I'm going to conclude. Overall, what's the warning? What did BlackRock do that's so unthinkable? They're buying. They're buying by the boatload. Okay? Boatload upon boatload upon boatload. They already hold 110,000 Bitcoin. Them and Fidelity, they hold more than MicroStrategy. It took Michael Saylor 4 long years to acquire 190,000 Bitcoin. These two funds acquired it in 3 weeks. Do the math. The way they're going, they will easily surpass MicroStrategy in the next month. Okay? And these guys are soaking up Bitcoin so much. I'm fearful that Bitcoin's going to get priced out, or retail investors will get priced out from Bitcoin. So stay strong, my friends. Accumulate DCA, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. What happened to DOT? Why no movement? Because no one knows what the hell's going on with DOT. That's why. All right. Take care.